Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Wednesday, October 28th, 2015. Ra here in the Lynn-Body-Mind, Glenn in the Jamie-Body-Mind, other teammates in other aspects of the physical dimension, all of us in the physical dimension and in the subatomic levels of the physical from the perspective of the spirit world viewers. The tragedies continue in the nature realms, and we believe that that is going to be where the spotlight shines for the videoed portion of today's efforts, but we could be wrong. We aren't pulling on the session. We're going with the foundational assignment. Once we have the awareness of the deadlines, provide a collective restart by January 17th, 2017, since that's what the data clearly shows is needed in order to manifest the divine plan. And then backing up to the sub-deadlines given by wiser minds above for the projects, to have any one project fulfilling the destiny by November 15th, any two projects fulfilling the destiny by the start of the Advent season, and any three projects fulfilling their destinies by the winter solstice. We have that as the background intention and awareness, and then we say, what now? What is ours to do right now in all dimensions? And with that, it begins.
What I'm starting to be shown looks like videos from the last days of the American involvement in Vietnam, right before the evacuation of Saigon, when there were South Vietnamese people at the gates of the American embassy trying to climb over, get through the gates, get in, to be with the people who had called themselves friends and called themselves allies and called themselves protectors, and now we're closing the gates on them and are backing up toward the door with their guns pointed out in the moment when we needed them most.
Right. And we're seeing what's been going on in the nature realms, and particularly in Thing 2, but what is happening in Thing 2 is simply a microcosm of what's happening in the nature realms every place.
That's true.
The nature realms are under attack. They're being bombed just as surely as Vietnam was bombed by the U.S.
That's true.
What now? Now we as spirit world presences have the opportunity to stand with our friends in their hour of need.
That's true. And I see how that could be misinterpreted as fighting alongside our friends against the threat that is coming, but there doesn't seem to be a way to stop what's coming.
No.
The destruction is here.
Raining
the tanks
down
are rolling
us.
in.
That's right.
The sky is on fire.
That's right. There's no way to stop this. And so we can each set the attitude and share it with those around us that today is the day I die, but before I die I'm taking those kids out of that burning building.
That's true.
In other words, soon I'm going to have to account for myself, and I see that. And I want some good actions on my plate, at least here at the very end. I want to stand up and do something. I want to be someone who made a difference.
That's true.
It's interesting, this isn't what I expected at all. I was thinking I would be shown what was going on in Thing 2, but
Yes.
that isn't it. I'm being shown what's going on in Thing 1 right now.
That's true.
Where Asha has the blueprints out of the plan as it was originally.
Yes.
With spirit world in, to me it looks like blue ink, and
That's
nature
true.
realms in pencil. And now the nature realms parts are erased.
That's
Because
true.
it doesn't look like there's going to be any way that they're going to be able to do their part in this dance in Thing 1. And what now? What now? And Asha feels calm. She feels good. It feels like she's able to bridge all the gaps. She can come
That's
up with a
true.
plan that solves this puzzle
That's
of
true.
how to get this person to live his soul plan and nothing but his soul plan. So help me God. And to do that by November 15th.
That's true.
She feels like she can do that, and the only tools she has to work with are the tools of breaking things.
That's true.
And how to break things in such a way as to herd this cat into his destiny, so he's living his soul plan in every moment and nothing else.
That's true.
She feels calm, though. She feels like she has a workable plan.
Yes, calm and optimistic.
Yes, and she feels like she has everything she needs right here in her workroom.
That's true.
And she does need the space to be cleared, but Black Wolf is kind of like running an exercise class right next door in the same
That's
center.
true.
And he's got people on stationary bikes, and they're all just trying to get in shape,
That's
really.
true.
These people being
Spirit world presences.
they're trying to get in shape, and
That's
Black
true.
Wolf has them on stationary bikes that are running cables, and the cables are generating the power that's keeping this space clean.
That's true.
And Black Wolf himself is a good instructor, and he hasn't gotten off his exercise bike at all, as best I can tell.
That's
People
true.
come and go through the class, but the instructor
keeps
is
going.
just going.
That's true.
Popping all of the crazy stories that the spirit world presences have, that an hour is too long.
That's
Well,
true.
obviously it's not too long, because Black Wolf is doing this around the clock.
That's true.
Now, maybe the cables that you're using are too thick, but they look like spider webs to me.
That's true. Very thin, very fine.
Right. I don't know. What now? How may we be of service right now to
accomplish all of these goals by their assigned deadlines
and manifest the divine plan by January 17th, 2017. Live streaming up again to the purest concentration of truth and integrity that we're able to connect to. Over and over again, we see how what's necessary is to practice that which takes us from inconvenient realities to living in integrity. And
That's
we're calling
true.
it potato, because in the future it's very common like potatoes. It's humble like potatoes.
That's
It's
true.
nutritious like potatoes.
That's true.
We don't have a word for it now. It doesn't exist in this time.
Yes, that's true.
But we can describe it as saying it starts with curiosity, and then it includes an attitude of experimentation.
That's true.
And the habit of using the events as motivation to live our soul plans rather than excuses to not live our soul plans.
That's true.
Not worrying about what we can't do, but doing what we can do, taking actions to allow commitment to build. And when commitment is present, to become committed to our soul plan, and then take action until the soul plan is accomplished.
That's true.
That quality we're labeling potato. And that modeling potato for others is the only way for them to come to know that potato works. And testing it for ourselves is the only way for us to come to know that potato works.
That's true.
Begins with curiosity. Why are things the way they are? Someone is asking me, who is attacking the nature realms?
Garth is asking.
I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that the attacks are happening not only in the projects, but everywhere in the nature realms that I look.
That's true.
It's happening everywhere.
That's true.
I do know there doesn't seem to be a way to stop it.
No.
Because when I ask, what now? All that continually comes is, today is the day I die, but before I die, I'm going to get those kids out of that burning building. Before I die, I'm going to accomplish something that's on my soul plan. I'm going to be of service to the greater good. I'm going to take courageous, selfless action on behalf of the greater good.
That's true. Well, Garth doesn't feel very satisfied with that answer, but that is the only answer I have right now.
I'm sorry. We can live stream up. Garth, how about this? Live stream up to the purest concentration of truth and integrity that you're able to connect to, and live stream up that question and ask, who is attacking? But remember, ask the wrong question. We'll either not get any answer or we'll get a wrong answer.
That's true.
A better question would be, what is mine to do right now in order to live my own individual soul plan? And Garth, what do you get when that comes?
Run the cables, clear the space, help others live their soul plan.
Garth, the wonderful aspect of these projects is that they are cordoned off life forms. So when you hold the space in Thing 2, it's as if you're holding the space for entire planets or an entire universe.
That's true.
And everyone, spirit world and nature realms alike, who are living inside of Thing 2, are living inside of the sacred space that you are creating, and it creates an updraft as we run the cables and clear the air, and that updraft allows soul presences to discern a little bit more clearly what it is they are supposed to be doing.
That's true.
And by setting the example, you yourself, of looking up and saying, what now? What now? What is mine to do right now in order to fulfill my destiny? Can you see what a beautiful example that sets for the nature realm's presences around you?
Yes.
Garth, how does that feel to you? To run cables while continually asking, what now? What is mine to do in order to fulfill my destiny? Because that's the example to set for these nature realms presences who are looking to you as a god.
It feels better, but I'm crying a lot.
Yes, well, there's nothing wrong with crying. Go on, talk about crying.
The crying itself feels good, but I worry that the people around me are interpreting it badly, and they seem to be confused about what the crying means.
Well, in your own words, what does the crying mean?
What it feels like is a release of denial, like part of the process of coming more into alignment of truth. And so it feels good, and it doesn't feel sad or wimpy.
And so if this is what you're experiencing as you are letting go of denial, does it seem possible these nature realms presences might experience much the same thing?
Yes, I think that's true.
Would it be helpful to simply let the tears flow while explaining that these are tears of release of denial?
Yes.
And that when they too let their denial go, that they too might experience tears of release, and that it feels good?
Yes, I can do that.
Garth, put your channels up and ask that purest concentration of truth and integrity, that question that you're holding in your heart right now. And follow it up with, and how to do that in such a way as to align with my soul plan. And see what comes. And unless I'm completely wrong, what's coming is run cables and set an example of potato, quote unquote.
That's true. Practice potato in public.
Practice potato in public. Run cables and practice potato in public. That's the answer to the question. And to Paul and Betty Jean, I would say, you too can practice potato in public.
That's true.
And if Pan is also ready to practice potato in public, that's ideal, but don't wait for Pan. He's grieving, and he's choosing to use the grief as an excuse rather than as motivation, and therefore he's not practicing potato in public.
That's
he's
true.
Practicing something else.
That's true.
But you can practice potato in public, and maybe when you are practicing potato in public with Garth, who is also practicing potato in public, then these nature realms presences will begin to practice potato in public as well.
That's true. And for all of us to practice potato in public, to set a good example.
Me too, me too.
Me too, me too, me too. There are inconvenient truths everywhere we look. Whoosh.
That is true.
That is true.
And to say, what now?
What now?
That purest concentration of truth and integrity feels very peaceful.
That's true. Very peaceful.